They eventually arrive in Sylvania to the town of Waldenschloss, which is very fun to say. It is not an
Hmm.
important lore town. I like saying the silly German names. What can I say?
Waldenschloss.
Waldenschloss. Where
Oh
you know the
yeah, we're going to Waudenschlaus to meet my friends.
I'm
We're
sure
going to have
every
so much
German
fun.
in the chat
yeah.
has just immediately either fell over laughing or has jumped off a bridge. Sorry, guys, we have been booking.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Lorecrimes. Hello.
Yo,
Ooh.
what's poppin'? Everyone, for the esteemed listeners and beautiful people, you'll notice Eli is not here today. He is, in fact, in the realm of chaos, battling to the death for his mighty doom. But Eli will be with us again soon. He's having a nice time. Appreciate that. But today, it's a shame as well, because today is a really, really good episode. This is
We
a
are
part
back.
3. This is a part
Hmm.
3, so if anyone wants to check out the previous parts, go check them out as well. But today is, you know who it is. It's fancy. It's this Gotrek and Felix, absolute icons.
The boys.
The boys, absolute legends of the Warhammer Fantasy universe, and also the old world, as we'll say. Just a small preface for the people who maybe haven't watched part 1 or 2, but obviously it is worth checking out because they're really good episodes. It's this fantastic duo that one is a human called Felix, who, just a brief rundown, Felix is a kind of / noble, well, very briefly, like a noble born-ish son thing / merchant class. And he's also a poet / bard or anything in that realm, just to help pattern him out. He got in trouble one day, and there was something like window tax riots, if I remember correctly.
Indeed.
And his path crossed with a bit of a short king. This is god. We have comment section, that's for later. But he met with this short king who's the mightiest creature ever to grace the Warhammer Fantasy universe. This is Gotrek, who is a dwarf who has taken the Slayer Oath. He has a mysterious past who is tragic, as for all who take the Slayer Oath and basically seek their mighty doom. Felix has been intertwined with Gotrek, who is set to record Gotrek's deeds before Gotrek finds his glorious end. And this is a part 3. So again, there's a lot of context in this so far. Where we last saw them, I think it was they had previously done the expedition up into the not the Norska Waste, but the Northland of the Warhammer Fantasy, just above Kislev. And I think they had delved into some ancient dwarven ruins, and there was some adventure there. No more spoilers, though. But today, Colin will be taking us on the next part of this incredible journey. And we're going to get ready. We're going to go straight into it. Colin, take us there.
Indeed. So yeah, that was last time we talked about it. I think it was I read the books in the omnibuses, so I have the books we're talking about today, but when I'm done talking about them, they start to blur in my mind because I read 18 books in about a year's period, which, for Andy is like, 5 minutes. But
a month.
Yeah. But for the people who aren't Andy, that's a fair bit amount of reading.
Yeah.
I'd like to think anyway.
And listening.
And listening.
And to be fair, I do still have. I have now got all the Gotrek and Felix books on Audible, so I am like,
huge.
That's going to be a fun time when I actually get round to being like, right, I have time to listen to something that's not 40k. But until such time.
Yeah, but Demon Slayer, where they went to an ancient dwarf hold and did some fighting with demons, and Dragon Slayer, where they tried to dogfight a dragon in a blimp, and it worked better than that phrase might make you believe. But the spirit of Grungni, Malachi Mackison's wonderful blimp, was a little bit banged up, and so he's gone to get it repaired. It's his baby. That thing's got to get fixed up. So in the meantime, we have the main two, Gotrek and Felix, as well as the three main tag-alongs. Not quite, they're not Gotrek and Felix, but they're very much also protagonists. Max, Snorri, and Ulrika are going to the city. Oh wait, no, and I forgot. The two surviving Slayer tag-alongs from Dragon Slayer, Bjorni, the horny dwarf. There's really all you need to know about him.
Is he similar to like a Jurgen-esque thing where, like, if he could, he'd be watching all the dirty mags in public, like, just because he doesn't care.
But he don't stank. He's just horny.
Yeah, but like, I think Jurgen is just like the social awareness and caring are both absent. Bjorni would definitely know he's being a pervert. He just doesn't give a shit.
Oh man.
It's like, oh, you dirty scoundrel.
Him and Uli, the Slayer, who was a little bit of a scaredy cat. He was very loud and boastful, and when the fighting happens, he didn't really want to die. He knew he has to. He's a Slayer, but wasn't really a fan. Those two, along with the main five, have gone to the city of Prague. Why are they going to Prague? Because there's a big old chaos invasion, baby. And when 4 of your 7 party members have a religiously mandated death wish, a chaos invasion is exactly where you want to be. For a little bit of a context, by the way, I believe this was Warhammer Fantasy was still kind of going down the Storm of Chaos timeline, which was End Time 0.5. Let's call it that.
This is the one where, like, it kind of was meant to be. It was the one that never became true, where, like, Grimgor kicked Archeon in the nuts. Is that?
Yeah, it was the one where GW wanted the end times, but they let player match results influence the lore, and the Chaos factions got their shit rocked.
Just for slight reference, people, the city of Prague is in the northern kingdom above the Empire of Man, which is Kislev, and Prague's pretty famous. Not the real life Prague.
No, but it is still it's pronounced Prague.
But it famously has pretty big walls, and there's been quite a few chaos invasions that usually, you know what I mean? Like, if someone's, I guess in football analogy, it's the first person, like rugby, it's the first person who's going to get smacked over before they get to the actual try line or whatever.
It's the first hurdle any chaos warlord has to get through. And it's known as the Haunted City because it's been torn down and rebuilt so many times that sometimes the ghosts of the city just kind of show back up. But for now, hasn't been torn down yet. It's the first stand against a chaos warlord known as Eric Demonclaw, a follower of Tzeentch who is quite full of himself and thinks he's not only destined to conquer the Kislev and the Empire, but rule the whole goddamn world. He is, as with all chaos warlords, confident.
You're telling me that the Slaneshi guy thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread? Really?
No, he's a Tzeentch guy.
Oh, a Tzeentch guy. I thought it was. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. But then there's like the nerd complex where it's like, I'm smarter than everyone. Yeah.
But he's called Eric, which is
but
really
it's Arek.
Oh, it's like
Eric.
Erik. Oh my God, it's Erik.
I mean, they are Viking. They are called the Norse, so it does track if you say it like that.
I'm the greatest demon host ever. I love to fight in the name of chaos. Tzeentch is my boy. That's how he speaks.
God, it doesn't sound very imposing. It's not very imposing, is it, though? To murder your whole family.
we'll give him credit. He is a pretty powerful. He's a chaos warlord. There's a baseline level of power you got to be to claim that title and rule over a big old horde of all 4 chaos forces. He has people from every god under him, so he's almost a mini Everchosen. He's not a pushover. But
a demi chosen.
Without spoiling, too much spoiling, he is the main antagonist of a Gotrek and Felix book. So do with that information what you will as to what's going to happen to poor Eric. Aiding him, however, are two sorcerers named Loigar and Kelmain.
Lorgar?
It's close. Lhoigair. It's not quite Lorgar. Lorgar from Wish.
Although, to be fair, both settings have a Magnus as well, don't they?
Magnus the
They
Pious.
do.
I will say
the
that
Pious is a lot cooler.
God bless his beautiful soul, Mr. William King, who I'm sure wrote this novel. We don't all have to use the random D&D name generator whenever we're trying to think of character names.
Hey, if it works. But these they're twins who and they're Zinchian twins. So in addition to doing that thing twins in books do, where they just kind of look at each other and just know what the other is thinking, which happens a couple times. They're also patiently waiting their own ascension to ultimate power through plans and all of this scrying, future-seeing nonsense, which Eric is very aware of, and the twins are aware he's aware, and the three main enemies of this book are all Zinch characters.
Can I just say, this is literally, if everyone remembers OG, Freddie W on YouTube, and he did a sketch with Key and Peele where it's like they're having like the standoff with the guns, and it's like, actually I with the guy, and then he takes off a mask, and then had the sniper the whole time, but turns out actually had a drone on you guys the whole time. It's one of those things like Zinchian stuff.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get right because it's always like, but I knew you knew I knew that guy knew, but he didn't know that I knew he knew he knew.
It's that meme of the people in the church where it's like the guy at the front, the gun, and then the sniper, and then there's like another sniper shooting the sniper. It's like, I can't even remember what that film was from. Yeah. Alfaria shenanigans, Zinchian shenanigans. Always. I was always 10 steps ahead. Don't you?
Alpha Legion should have been Zinch stuff, honestly. Like, and then it's just solved.
Yeah.
Then it's less annoying.
Yeah. But so they're Zinchian. They're the three main overall bad guys of this book, and Eric is the commander of the army, leading, again, a mixed force. So every now and again he has to deal with some Khornate berserkers going, but I want to attack the walls now. I want to do it now. The typical Chaos Warlord stuff. And during one of these attacks, the defenders of Prague, it's early in the invasion at first, so there's a bit of a sortie outside the walls where we meet Gotrek and Felix in the book. They're fighting outside the walls, cutting down demons left and right. There is a cool scene where Felix is charmed by a demonette, because demonettes are Slaanesh foot soldiers. They're just rushing on in too. And it's just a cool scene of how it works, because he looks at it and he's like, this is a monstrous demon, but it's like the magical beauty and scent and sound of the demonette's voice just stun lock him until he's standing next to Gotrek. So the demon, Gotrek snaps him out of it. He's like, oh God, that's what I'm really looking at. And sees the demonette model as it is, basically. They kill it and they go on fighting. During this time, Eric gets a look at Gotrek cutting down everything sent to his portion of the assault, and takes some interest. He's like, well, there's Kislevites aren't dwarfs. What's he doing here, and why is he so goddamn powerful? And here we get a little bit of a glimpse as to the origin of Gotrek and his weapon. He goes to his two seer twins, I'm going to call him Lorgar at least once, Loigar and Kelmain, and they show him a vision of the dwarf god Grimnir himself forging the axe that Gotrek wields in battle, as well as not too many, but enough you can definitely start piercing some things together. Also, some bits of Gotrek's own origin, why he became a Slayer. There's what is the right word? I don't know. A little bit of Dowie side in Gotrek's backstory. He snapped a little bit and killed some people he probably should have killed.
I'm thinking of there must be I can't remember the show, but there is one where it's like they just wake up and they're like, it's bloody not thinking of that. I think it's like it's a Kratos thing. It's the Kratos origin kind of.
Okay.
Oh, God of War Kratos.
Kinda,
yeah.
No, yeah.
No more.
I mean,
than
it's
that,
the
though.
same Kratos, just the new one's a lot less fun to watch do his thing.
Yeah, less less having your wife and child's ashes forever coated on your skin, more just angry with big beard, bigger than Kratos' beard as well.
Which I remind you is not even you, audience, is not me making fun of the new God of War. I'm just saying the old one was a lot more fun to watch do his thing. New Kratos would not use someone's head as a flashlight.
Well, what's his name? The one where he just like rips the god's head off, and he's just there like
Helios.
It has some give. Helios, and he's like, "Come on!" He's like, "Ah, my neck."
Yeah, and then he used him as a flashlight.
yeah. It's great.
I said flash.
Again. Flashlight.
Okay. There's no need to go there. I apologize.
Yeah. But Eric, after seeing this vision, is understandably a bit wary of Gotrek now. He's one of the only characters in any of these books to almost realize he's in a Gotrek and Felix book as the antagonist. He's like, I've just watched the Slayer cut down a lot of my forces, and he's wielding an axe forged by a god. I'm a little bit afraid of that guy, which completely reasonable opinion if you ask me. So he starts ordering that assassins are sent to kill him and Felix, because, Felix is still a problem, much less of a problem than Gotrek, but Felix is hardly incompetent, especially by this point of the series, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But with that, we cut back to inside of Prague. The siege, calms down a bit. We're back to, the chaos encircling it, but there's no present assault. So Gotrek and Felix are hanging out back in Prague, and they meet a man named Willem, who's the younger brother of the ruling noble of Prague. The ruling guy's name is Duke Enric, but he's not too important. His younger brother Willem, though, he seems a nice enough guy. He seems, he's polite enough. Seems a little bit peeved at Prague's rulers and maybe a little bit of issues with his brother going on, but family drama happens, right? Nothing too bad. Cut to a cultist meeting where a fellow with the very much stated to be fake name of Halleck is tasked with getting Gotrek and Felix killed. I will let you all ruminate on who Halleck could really be. With that, back to our heroes, though, it's a little bit another jump. They're in a tavern because, of course, they are. That's Gotrek and Felix's natural habitat. And a witch hunter that's in the area really wants to pick a fight with Gotrek. And it's pretty heavily implied that that witch hunter is also secretly a Tzeentch cultist. But he made the mistake of just picking a head-on 1v1 fight with Gotrek, which is
ill-advised.
He cuts his head. He's dead. The guy gets his head cut off. And then Gotrek resumes drinking.
Just... And then literally...
It reminds me of like all the attempts in the Horus Heresy they made. They're like, we got to assassinate Horus. It's like, well, I know how this ends. You don't.
Yeah.
It's like
even to the extent of like, we're going to get like the first time ever, we'll get one of each assassin and we'll send them all after Horus at once, and it goes really badly. Like, what? Oh, we'll just do it again. It's like, no, it's not going to work.
Surely one of them will get through.
Once.
No, none of them.
Yeah. And then another assassin attacks him and he's like a demon host. Like, why did this happen? This was perfect. Nope.
Why do you keep
shenanigans, chaos shenanigans? It always happens.
Yeah.
Do you
one
think,
of them even joins Horus?
Do you think every time like Gotrek's near death, he just stands up and he goes, "I'm the protagonist, bitch," and just
yeah, he's running through people,
run through walls. God.
So this is the heroes are getting clued in that someone wants them dead, but also at the same time, Gotrek getting in a fight to the death with someone in a tavern is the least eventful thing that happens. That is Tuesday.
The craziest part so far is that they've not received a poorly handwritten letter that details the exact plan of which they should definitely not investigate.
But will you see how you mentioned that we're taking another jump cut to help it? For those of you unaware, Hell Pit is, we'll go with capital, of the Skaven clan Mulder, where after, I don't know, like 2.5 books of just failure after failure after failure.
A Skaven's lifetime.
Several Skaven lifetimes.
And several Skavens.
Yeah. Where none other but our boy Grey Seer Thanquol is currently imprisoned between his failures at Nuln, his failure trying to capture the spirit of Grungni, his general being himself. Thanquol's been taken prisoner, as well as the fact that out of all the underlings he had at Nuln, the one from Clan Mulder was the only one to survive, and Skaven being Skaven, that guy naturally went back home and told the rest of Clan Mulder, hey guys, that Thanquol guy's a dick. Which is not inaccurate.
Look at what they did to my Bone Ripper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They did look what they did to Bone Ripper, hey. You know? Guys, oh man, what Bone Ripper are we on now though?
God only knows, man.
Bone Ripper 471, my precious boy.
I don't think we're quite at the double digits at this point in the series, but it's getting there.
Bone Ripper 6 could get it, but Bone Ripper 7 didn't deserve it. Okay.
Truly, the Bone Ripper bloodline is a long and illustrious one.
Are they made
more
by Clan
sequels
Mulder?
than the Fast and the Furious, which is impressive.
Are they made by Clan Mulder? Because obviously Bone Ripper's like a masked rat ogre mount.
They at first they were, yeah. Then out of universe GW started releasing Storm Fiends, and in universe Clan Scryer decided, what if we gave a rat ogre a gun?
Love it.
And so Bone Ripper became an a double house project.
An industrial manufacturing thing.
Yeah. But luckily for Thanquol, because his entire life is one long series of lucky breaks followed by unlucky breaks. Lurk Snitchtongue, who, if you remember from last time, was Thanquol's little underling, also from Nuln, who hitched a ride on top of Malachi McKyson's blimp in the Realm of Chaos, which mutated him heavily to be about the size of a rat ogre. He is now in Hell Pit too, and has started a communist uprising.
Wow.
I mean, it's specifically called a populist uprising, but, you know, populace for the people. Lurk Snitchtongue is the people's champion.
We the Skaven, for the Skaven. By the Skaven.
Indeed. So Thanquol, once again tripping into success, is released on the condition that he helps Mulder deal with this new threat. And because he's still magically connected with Lurk, he's able to see the roided out rat's plans and thwart them. Lurk pisses off, he's not dead yet, and Thanquol is once again a free rat. This is I will specify, by the way, Thanquol is not really impactful in the main plot of this book. It's just he shows up a couple times, and it's always fun. Which I think is the only reason he's here. They're just like, well, I want to mention Thanquol. He's fun to talk about.
Funny rat.
He truly is the Lord Farquaad of the Skaven race. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice.
But that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Yes.
Oh
yeah,
what's the actor? Yeah, he's great.
As I said, before we get any further, though, you do have some donos that we need to take account for.
Do.
Thank you guys very much.
I'll start us off. So start off with
God.
Donkey Man.
There it is.
2 buckaroos. Stream late due to Hal gooning to Patrick Starr. Yeah, pretty much.
Every week.
We all seen it before.
Card Shark for 5 Canadian. I bathe in Nuln oil. I stroke with Nuln oil. That's a sentence I've said out loud.
Yeah.
That is a name. Thugless El Bozo for €2. Never let the 4th cook. You'll get another Talon.
Oh,
Paste.
Tom Warren for $2. Which chaos god would the Swedish chef worship? Oh,
Slanesh, the sick bastard.
Well, surely it'd be Nurgle because of the large cauldron.
I see that. I want to go Nurgle, but the Swedish chef, like, you know, he's a good cook. He's not making like typhoid soup.
But then he has to say "nurgle, nurgle, nurgle" in the pot.
That's true.
The nurglings in.
He would be. He's kind of a nurgling, isn't he? Kind of a nurgling in vibe.
What is with the Swedish respect?
Crap bowl sets. Crap bowl sets.
Baslets.
Baslets. Crap baslets for €10. Sorry, man, if I butchered that. Long time. Hammer time.
Hammer time.
Hammer time. Oh boy.
Here you go.
Luke 2207. Is that a murder bots, murder droids, whatever PFP it is? Thank you for the €10. Why did I say it like that? For Colin, would you rather date Carl Franz or Marathi? Also been watching you guys for a while. Love the content. Well, thank you. Also have you know that my love for Carl Franz is purely platonic as a leader and champion of men. I will leave that sentence there before my usual train of thought continues.
Carl Franz is his Aragorn.
All right. Let me just for a second rephrase that. If you're on a date, I say dates with Marathi, and all of a sudden, and it's Carl, and he's like, "Summon the Elector Counts." Do you rush to his aid, or do you just go,
"Oh, I'm out. I'm out. I'm sorry, Marathi.
Breaking up. You're breaking up." No, you would.
I'm pretty sure Colin would run. He would run out the restaurant, run back in, take a picture of her feet, and then run back out again.
Hal's got it. Hal's got the strat.
Number one for you, Colin.
Happy birthday.
It's
Thank you, Sharkboard Meyer, for the 5CA. Thank you once again. It is now exactly 3 months and 1 day after my birthday, but thank you.
In fact,
but I like the fact that you've had a birthday every week for the last month.
I have. It's I think I'm like up to what that's 12 weeks since I'm now 38. I'm now the oldest one here.
He's trying to age you. Oh.
In fact, only 3 days ago was my birthday as well. So now I'm even older and have more Warhammer debt.
Happy birthday.
Happy late birthday.
Thank you. Not 30 yet, still.
Oh, don't rub it in. Don't rub it in.
Non-dormant for $2. Mission success. Cousin now has Black Templars. You genius. You've in fact you've done a bad thing because now you put your family in financial ruin.
At risk.
Yeah, you've really
financial risk.
You've made a very horrible decision for them.
Look, just make sure he's not an annoying Black Templars fan, and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh, Colin, you got one for you.
The Wolfblood Warrior. I think you were the €15, and an Abyss Watcher PFP. Let's go. Damn. This one is for Colin specifically. Where is the Thankful video? When thankful, Colin? When thankful? P.S. You keep going, guys. You are amazing. Well, thank you very much. And I'll give you the same answer I've been giving for about 2 years now. I will make it when I make it.
Yeah.
I'll make it. We'll get there when we get there.
Listen, you don't blow reading.
Look,
Sorry, go ahead.
I read slowly, and Oblivion just came out again.
The real reason. Notice the subtitle underneath Colin's.
Helenal needs me. I need to turn the Elven Garden District in the Imperial City into a graveyard.
Did you like my subtitle name, Colin, underneath mine?
I just noticed it. I kind of wish you didn't point it out, but we're here now. This is what I get. This is my own suffering. So fair enough.
For the audio listeners, pregnant Colin. There you go. That made me feel horrible saying that.
Yeah, I don't feel good.
I hated that every minute of that.
Mr. Stark, I'm not feeling so good after that one.
Well, to absorb some of the bad feelings from you, I feel weird that I played Oblivion on release and I was 15, and now I'm like, oh, that game's 20 years old almost. God, I'm getting old. Please help. Please. Is that my coffin? Am I getting in? Oh, is it time? Okay.
Bro, you're a veteran. You know how many Skyrim re-releases like we all missed?
Just think, I was there before the re-releases. In the good
times.
Like
my kids and nephews are gonna be like, bro, have you heard of this game called Skyrim? And I'm like, damn it, Todd. You know what I mean? I'm like, not
Do not speak your witchcraft to me. I was there when it was written at university.
I think
that's where my university
yes. Back to the story.
Oh, dude, I am Pelennal's strongest racist.
Oh, you should love that. And Jack
Yeah.
again, Carl Franz, my son, Bretonian primacy is the only true path forward. Also, I'm gay. Thank you, Jack. Still gay. Appreciate you. Love you, homie. Welcome. Love you and appreciate you.
God
Mhm.
bless.
Where were we? So Thankol has just been in Hell
Yes.
Pit, and
Yes, he's
the goober's been released.
the goober is free. We're now cutting away from that because again, like as I was skimming back through the books to refresh myself, I think I did like realize that he's not here because it's important to the plot. He's here because people just like Thankol. Because that's it.
His story is vitally important to many people's mental health.
It is vital to my enjoyment.
Firstborn child, I sleep. Thankol's new
appearance.
Thankol appearance, awake. So.
But now we're back to the actual plot, and now it's Felix's turn to be jumped by two assassins, which Gotrek isn't around right now, but around this point, we're 5 books into the series. This is about the point where Felix is allowed to be kind of just a scary guy in his own right. Like this is where you start realizing that he's been adventuring for a good few years by this point. He's not a pushover. So he kills one of them, and through a series of goofs and struggles, the other assassin ends up falling on his own poisoned blade and dying. But hey, it's the end result is Felix survived. It was a little bit less Tom and Jerry than when all the Clan Eshin assassins tried to kill him in Nuln. It wasn't quite that level of comedic failure. Felix has shown that he's a pretty cool guy now.
This wasn't like one of those in the story they need to have like an accidental death, so someone falls over and hits their head in a rock. You know what I mean? Like it happens.
Yeah.
That
happened in World War Z, the movie.
It's not like because we've been talking about Elder Scrolls, that thing where you see like an NPC and they're like, oh, this dungeon is dangerous, and then they instantly step on like a trap that crushes them into the ceiling, and you're like,
Lydia, you
Skyrim
stupid
AI
bitch.
But every time that happens in a game, like, don't you try and like save the person? I always feel like I try and save them.
Yeah, I do, but usually I don't even get to that point because I don't bring companions with me.
Isn't there like there's a bloody Imperial Legionary or Stormcloak that just gets grabbed by Alduin or something? Every time...
no, it's Odahving. It's when you're capturing him.
Yeah,
it's the guard. It's one of the guards there is there to help, and you call him. You can't save him. You can push him inside the building. You can't save him.
Jarl Balgruuf doesn't seem that concerned. Like one of his boys just got pasted to capturing this dragon.
It's a city guard. They respawn for a dime a dozen.
It just reminds me of when I play Fire Emblem and the green units are like, we're going to defend the castle. And then they instantly walk into the enemy like, oi, come back. And there's like no reason to save them, but I still like save that soldier and bring him to the back and babysit him because he's stupid.
Look, I'm sure there's writing somewhere in one of Michael Kirkbride's insane ramblings that guard reincarnated and achieved Chim. I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah. At least didn't get his manhood cut off and turned into a sword, like more like Baal, I think. Isn't it? No.
Oh, right.
Vivek bit off more like Baal's, you know what, and then turned it into a weapon or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, him and Molag Bal were lovers. Molag Bal, the Lord of taught Vivek the word love.
Oof.
Yeesh.
Thank you, Elder Scrolls.
Thank you, Todd Howard.
Oh, that one was not Todd Howard. That was absolutely Michael Kirkbride.
Shout out to the people taking screen caps right now.
It's a title they gave him. I didn't make it up.
There's in the disc. Well, we should say at this point we have a Discord for people who haven't caught it yet. It's been going off. The amount of memes we've seen about us has been honestly overwhelming. We really appreciate that.
They're good fun.
Thank you. There's a whole section dedicated to screen grabs of our faces.
Yep.
So
and there is also an entire bit dedicated to praising Boingob, and I happy to say that every day I check it, and every day there are new people saying, praise going by Boing. It's like, yes, keep going. Don't even have to prompt them, they just do it. That's great.
Blessed be the father of Squiggs. Blessed be
Mm.
the rotisserie chicken who tried to devour the sun. His
Biggest squig of-
appetite was too big for this universe.
Mm.
Indeed. God bless him.
So Felix is just
yeah. He's just been jumped. He survived. He killed him and fought him off. While he was getting jumped, the assassins mentioned a brothel called the Red Rose, and they learn that the person who hired the assassins frequents the place. So they go to investigate. Don't find anything immediately. But Uli and Bjorni start going to the brothel frequently for investigation. I assure you, Felix, this stripper's tits are vital for the survival of Prague.
Something to live for. Keeping the Slayer at bay.
During that clown show, Eric, back to him, is kind of sick of getting results, and speaking of sick, has the followers of Nurgle unleash a plague on the city, infecting thousands, including our dear Ulrika, which, as a side note, love triangle nonsense is still kind of happening. There's only so often I can mention it before I just get sick of it. So just know that Felix and Max and Ulrika are still occasionally sniping at each other over that nonsense. But now she's sick, so it's time to put aside the dick measuring contest. Given that it's a Nurgle plague, it's equal parts contagion and magic. And because Max is a hell of a wizard, he's able to cure her after a little bit of time. There's also mentioned, which I think this is just neat, that Max was able to see the microscopic demons in Ulrika's blood. And to this day, I don't know if that's literal or if, because they're like a Renaissance society, right? If Max just used wizard vision to see bacteria, but he doesn't know what that is because they're still doing like leech bloodletting, and you just assume bacteria were demons.
Up to interpretation,
up to whatever you think is cooler, I guess. Ulrika's cured, but she's still out for a bit. And with that, the cultists start upping the ante. They start attempting to poison the city's food supply, which is partially thwarted by the four, non-sick protagonists. But they still, poison one silo. They warn the Duke and realize that cultists are just rising up across the city now. As with most chaos cults, they start building towards that crescendo. And on top of this, there is a massive buildup of magical energy focused around Prague, which I did mention. Prague is the haunted city. The dead start walking the street, and it's pretty terrifying. But again, it just happens sometimes in Prague. So it's very scary. And I mean, I'd be horrified if I walked outside and my grandpa was walking down the street again, faintly glowing blue. I'd be like, all right, well, that's disturbing.
But that's peculiar.
Yeah,
they know it. They know they've heard of it.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, it's like, oh shit,
that again.
It's more of a morale drain on all of like the foreigners in Prague, because as the brunt of a chaos invasion, a lot of different people are here, mercenaries in particular, who know that chaos invasion equals big payout if you live. That last part's the sticking point, though.
Yeah.
Max, meanwhile, is made an advisor to the Duke of Prague and starts helping him, matters of chaos and whatever the hell's going on with that energy buildup, which is, those two things are very much related. And because, another jump cut very quickly, unstable amounts of magic in massive quantities are very interesting, Clan Mulder gives Thankful an army to go investigate.
Oh no.
He's just given one.
A disposable army, I assume, because what else is there?
I mean, as all Skaven armies are.
Bro. So stupid.
That's it. We could cut away from Thankful again. That's it. God bless. God bless Thankful.
Bro, but keep going. No word.
Yeah. Halleck, meanwhile, is also getting a little bit annoyed, much like his master Eric, that no matter who he sends after Gotrek and Felix, because there was a few more attempts, they keep failing. The dwarf and the human are never dead. And he's also now getting worried about being discovered because he knows they're kind of investigating a bit. Because every now and then, Willem will make another appearance. They'll talk, and then we just mysteriously cut to Halleck about, oh man, they're getting close. They're on the trail. I know what's happening. So now he's instead of singing it after Gotrek and Felix, he sends assassins after one of the girls at the brothel, who Felix was asking about. Which, I mean, would have succeeded. But you thought I was kidding. Bjorny, that horny son of a bitch, was currently seeing her when he sent the assassins. And so they were fended off, and the girl, her life was saved. You thought I was kidding when I said the tits were important to the survival of Prague. They were.
When are they not?
God,
Always. Wars have been fought for less. Oh.
And they, with that, they now officially learn that Halleck is Willem, and they rush to the palace to warn his brother. Where we then cut to Willem, where this is actually a fairly sad moment. Willem is about to kill his brother Enric. He's about to kill the Duke. But something that's been happening throughout the book is as the siege progresses, the cult does more and more things. Willem is kind of having second thoughts. He's like thinking more and more. He's like, I don't know. Do I really want to do this? But he's like, well, I'm kind of damned anyway. I've already committed to Tzeentch. It's not like even if I do survive and leave, I can hardly go anywhere. You know, if I betray chaos, I've already betrayed order. So it's like, well, But as he's about to kill his brother, he basically realizes he's a monster. And even knowing full well he's damned, he sacrifices himself to stop the underlings he has from killing his brother, which is the way it's written is actually pretty sad. And it buys Gotrek and Felix enough time to get there and kill the rest of the assassins, which they get there, and it's just his brother, Duke Enric, is looking down at his brother's corpse and is like, he was a hero. He saved my life. And Felix pointedly avoids telling him that he was about to kill you, because it's just his brother's obviously devastated, because as far as his brother knows,
his own brother just tried to save him.
Yeah, he's already having a bad day. Why pile on some more trauma? Like,
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
There is no happy ending for Willem, though, where he's secretly allowed into Sigmar or Ursun's afterlife, because I believe it specifically mentions the last thing Willem sees before death takes him is Tzeentch himself.
Maybe that was the plan all along.
Well, he couldn't escape being a villain.
No.
Hell of a way to go, though. Damn.
But with that, the scheming, there's no more scheming. We're done with that. Eric is done with that. And in spite of, I can't believe it's not Lorgar and Kelmain telling him that you should not attack the city right now, he orders his final assault. All that magical energy that was gathered was used to summon an absolutely massive horde of demons, and it's time to take Prague. He's done. He's destined to conquer the world and rule it all. He's done waiting on his incompetent underlings to kill this midget and his twink. He's sick of it. So assault begins. Gotrek's axe is bullshit strong enough that it can destroy siege towers if he hits it hard enough.
Wow.
Which, pretty good. But there is only one Gotrek, and Gotrek can only be at one place at a time. So the defenders have to retreat from the outer layers, retreat from the walls to the inside of Prague. And Gotrek and Felix remain there to hold off as long as they can. Because after all, at this point, it is Gotrek, Felix. Well, it's Felix and 4 other Slayers, because, Snorri, Gotrek, Oli, and Bjorny. So the Slayers are there for their doom, and Felix said he'd be there to record it. So they're basically planning on dying at the wall.
I do like there's a recent Doom the Dark Ages trailer that came out where it's like the villain just being like, "Oh, I've got this army," and his order's just like, "Avoid the Slayer," and it's so true with like God, just like, "Oh, he's just gonna kill anything." It's like, "Oh, just go around him. Don't worry about him. Wear him down eventually." And he is a Slayer, but I just like the villain that has like I just love like, and it made me instantly think of that, just like the big villain, just like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about him. He's just gonna mess anything up that goes in his way. Just go around. He can only be in one place at one time."
Truly the horse archer strategy to anything. Just
wonderful.
Cantabrian circle and run around. That's all we have to do. Give me that. Give me that Crassus death. Run it.
Also, again, another side cut. Part of the Chaos Horde also just kind of pissed off, and runs into Thanquol's force. So now he's fighting Chaos too. Again, we're not here for long. That's just Thanquol's now also indirectly helping the defenders of Prague.
I'm about to say, oh my god.
So stupid.
You can just imagine Thanquol leaving and just being like, "And nothing can stand in my way." Oh, for God. And just like,
that's a lot of Chaos Warriors.
Where did they come from? I wasn't expecting them.
Yeah. But while Felix and the Slayers are just at the walls awaiting their deaths, a catapult rock crashes into the wall and knocks Gotrek clean out. He's unconscious, which everyone kind of decides to take the tactical retreat and drag his ass to the Temple of Shalia, a goddess of mercy, to heal Gotrek up. He gets healed up, and as they start fighting through the streets back into the fray, things have devolved into complete and utter chaos. Lowercase c, by the way. It's important when we're talking about chaos. The Horde, there's no longer any sense of discipline now that it's the final assault. Eric has lost all control over his legions, and they're just rampaging through the street. It's street by street, building by building fighting. Some of the Chaos Warriors are just fighting each other now at this point, because again, it's a mixed Chaos army. They do not like each other very much, and now they're just not listening to the guy in charge. So it's complete mayhem. But it's still a Chaos Horde in your streets. Still not looking good for still worse for Prague than it is for any of the individual Chaos forces. But the twins turned out to be quite spot on in their prediction that you should not attack the city right now, because there's a double 1-2 whammy. I guess 3 counting Thanquol's tomfoolery off in the distance, but more directly, Malachi's back with the Spirit of Grungni hovering over the city and just dropping bombs on the Chaos Horde. Death from above, full on, hell yeah.
I like Malachi, he's fun.
He's very fun, even if reading his dialogue can be a struggle sometimes. And the Ulrica's father also, who had been sent out pretty much, I think, even before the book started, has returned with the Ice Queen of Felix, Katerin herself. They're purging the city. They have surrounded it. Well, has surrounded it from chaos, and they're coming in to just sweep it clean. Which, not great for chaos. Felix, as he's kind of catching sight of everything, he rallies the remaining defenders around him through the time-honored method that's kept him alive all these years of telling everyone to follow the dwarf. And it will probably keep you alive more likely than it won't.
Just like following a force of nature, like a tornado. Yeah. Like, that'll clear a path. Just stand far enough behind it that you don't get swept up. You'll be...
It's like, look, stand behind the tornado. You'll be fine.
The very short tornado.
Does anyone here play Rome 1 total, like the first Rome Total War?
Oh, dude, I've got thousands of hours.
This is like the equivalent of like following after like either the Berserker unit from the Germanic tribes or the Flaming Pigs. Just immediately after. If anyone knows.
Don't get too close.
But the Flaming Pigs. Give me a bridge battle with Berserkers or Phalanx, please, bro. That's all I need.
Release the pigs.
Yes. Oh, bro.
And at this point, the twins, in proper Tzeentch fashion, just leave. I think they just teleport away. They're like, I see the writing on the wall. The Ice Queen of a land perpetually covered in snow has arrived. that is a blimp. I don't know what a blimp is, but the dwarves have one. We're going to leave. And sure enough, they do.
Can we check the air at it? No, it's too high up.
I too am bouncing when the blimp-mobile is in town.
And they leave, and Eric is sensing that he made, by this point, a slight lapse in judgment, and that perhaps the twins were right. But at this point, it's too late to pull back. You've already committed. And the city is now re-surrounded. So, time to fight. So he decides to engage Gotrek head-on, which goes a bit better for him than normal. Also, I skipped over it a bit. Uli, the one who, I mentioned him every now and again. He's the one who, like I said, he was a little bit of a scaredy cat, not the bravest guy around, even for a Slayer, but throughout these books, like, this book especially, he's getting a little bit braver. He's starting to feel confident in his abilities, like less afraid of the Slayer oath, kind of embracing that, he is a death-bound warrior, but he's not being much of a coward. He's ready to fight, right? He gets killed by a beastman.
Poor guy.
I don't think it was even it wasn't like a minotaur or anything. It was just a gore.
Well, at least like the beastmen got a little bit of lore that was significant. So like, good for them. Good for them.
Yeah. Hey, they killed a Gotrek and Felix character.
Yeah.
Neither of the two, but hey, something.
Yeah. At least he fulfilled the oath.
He did fulfill his oath. No one can deny him that.
Oath fulfilled. Bozo.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Eric, for his part, almost overpowers Gotrek. The fight's going his way. He's a Tzeentchian Chaos Lord. He's got some real powerful enchanted armor and weapons, and again, Tzeentch, so there's probably some future sight going on a little bit. Almost kind of like, Kurz, like with the fighting the lion, that kind of stuff. Tzeentch is almost overpowering Gotrek. But it is then by that point that Bjorni and Snorri just tackle him from behind, which Bjorni also dies here. I guess 7 characters was a bit too many for William King to juggle. So there goes Bjorni. Snorri just barely manages, hold him off, like push the sword back with his weapons. Where by that point, while Eric is distracted, Gotrek walks up and lops his head off.
Hey.
Felix raises the Chaos Lord's decapitated head high, which sets off a chain of panic in the Chaos Warriors who can see it, which causes the rest of them to panic, which causes, more and more to panic. And the demons begin dissipating as, the warlord holding everything together was slain. And the day is just barely saved as Malachi and Katerin come in to mop up who's left. There is there's some mention of Katerin and Malachi negotiating dwarf help in the upcoming Chaos invasion, because there's metaphorically, not literally, Arcane's not here right now, but metaphorically, they know there's another greater invasion on the horizon when the Ever-Chosen himself makes his appearance. But again, for now, victory has been achieved. And the book ends on a final note of Thankol managing to defeat the enemy forces despite being outnumbered 4-1. And I should clarify that Thankol outnumbered them 4-1, which he considered to be overwhelming odds against him.
Yeah.
Goodness sake. Bro, he is the nepos of babies. The biggest nepo baby.
I don't know. Like, no one's like, he's not getting given power. I mean, he is, but he's not getting given it in a way because it's like he's related to another member of like the Skaven Council. He just keeps bullshitting his way into it. Like he's
and you'll just keep winning. He'll say no, stop. It's too much winning.
He's just the embodiment of fake it till you make it, but you never make it. You just fake it and fake it and fake it.
He's like almost the inverse of Caiaphas Cain, where Cain's really competent but doesn't believe in himself. Thankful believes in himself more than anyone has ever believed in themselves. By God, is he a idiot?
You know what? at least when I didn't believe in myself, Thankful believed in himself. All right, so
He did.
He's channeling that like YouTube alpha male like influencer vibe, just like yeah, just gotta believe and just gotta get your money, get your bread. Oh, it'll work out in the end. Yeah.
You gotta get your Bugatti, all right, and get your work stone up.
Why don't you turn it? I'm from Somerset, all right.
That's because
right there. I'm an influencer.
It's
right.
so weird, isn't it? Bugatti.
Yeah.
We do have some. Good.
I would just say just some like last thoughts on the book. It is not my favorite, but it's one of my favorite of the Gotrek Felix stories. I did breeze through some stuff, but like there's only so many ways. Like I did mention it with Willem. There's only so many times you can repeat Willem's feeling bad, and then we cut away, and then we cut back, and he's doing something evil again, but he's feeling bad. Cut away, rinse and repeat. But they do like build him up fairly well throughout the book. They do make his like sacrifice at the end feel pretty sad, especially because again, his last thoughts are of him going to Tzeentch himself. And there's a cool passage kind of at the start where Felix is just looking out at the horde and thinking every time chaos invades, the borders get pushed back a little bit from how far is no man's land. So it is a very good read throughout. It's doesn't have like the highest of moments, but it's like probably overall one of the most consistently just like it was a good book, good read.
We did have some more donations that very generously given out. Angry Homunculus for £5. So Felix was fighting that Japanese guy who licked his own poison.
I love that clip so much.
Oh man,
it's it's some like some goofy film that like completely homemade like jokey action movie. I think I haven't seen like all of it, but it's like the guy's like, this blade.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
is very poisonous. The slightest cut is lethal, and he licks it. I probably shouldn't have licked it, and then he just falls over dead.
We didn't read out.
Bean. We got to do Bean.
Only Eli were here.
Do you think Vulcan? Do you think Vulcan said flint and steel before he did the funny thing?
Flint and steel.
What do you mean when he child Eldard? Like,
yeah, lit another flint and steel. Tom Warren with the 5. Talos chimmed all over Cyrodiil, and that's why it doesn't have any jungle. That's true.
It's such a weird part. Like that's Elder Scrolls lore is fun.
Or it's not true, and the White Gold Tower just did that.
Wow. Do you want to read this one, Colin? Because
Colin will wear a green hat in 10 weeks. All right.
Wow, that's very specific.
When is it? Let me check my calendar real quick. What's I mean, I don't want to disappoint. That's a very easy ask. This cast is the only reason I care about fantasy. Well, thank you.
Thank you, man,
for the €2.
Appreciate that. When is 10 weeks?
That's Andy? The 4th of July. 4th of July, I think.
I can't wear green.
America
on that
Day.
Bunny Cop for $10. Song recommendation during Ghost City of Prague. Flip City by Glenn Frey. Also, Thankful is the best rat clown. Even in his own book, he's not allowed to just win without failing. I mean, Thankful is just a genius. Like, I don't know how Willie King ever thought of that. Like, there's just a thing where it's like he probably sets the standard of like what is just probably Skaven from then on. I don't think anyone had that.
His first book starts with like it follows some like humans finding something before it cuts to Thankful. His very first passage is him unconscious having a PTSD flashback about Gotrek and Felix, and then he wakes up being carried on like tied to a pole by other Skaven, and he immediately begins blaming other people for his problems. It is great.
Mr. William King, the author, has definitely worked with Thankful in his life. There's too much inspiration.
There's some personal inspiration.
97, Gary. Okay, like it was him.
I mean, to be honest, from the rumor mill that I've heard about the history of people employed at Games Workshop, it might have been inspired from someone who worked there.
I've heard some things that would not shock me if that was the case.
If there's any more, I think then is it the next part of the story, Colin?
We're now gonna cover the book Vampire Slayer, which is a direct sequel. This will be a bit shorter. Vampire Slayer is a bit of a shorter book, and it is also a lot of it is just. I'm sorry, I just saw the latest dono real quick. Bean with the 5. Colin needs to wear his iconic green hat and do his iconic Eldar jig.
I don't know what to make of that.
I don't.
Is that an insult?
I mean, by blood, I'm mostly Irish, I guess. Not quite. Doesn't quite count.
I think to be honest, the chat is just trying to willing things into existence. Like, we will tell you this is what you will do, and you will do it. Do it funny, man.
I don't know. I don't know how to tell you this. Real life isn't Warhammer. If you believe in something hard enough, it will not just show up.
Are you telling me
you are not Orc?
remember, guys, we love you, but don't follow your dreams. It's not going to work out. That's what Colin meant.
No, all right. No, see, those are Hal's words, not Colin's.
You're going to
saying, give up.
You're going to do the 9 to 5 until you die. Okay, give up.
Again, Hal's words, not Colin's.
Employment is prison. Enjoy. That's all what we live for.
But Vampire Slayer, get away from Hal's.
Speaking of immortality,
Doomer's speech.
Hal's diatribe, yeah.
Like I said, direct sequel. So the 5 fellas, Max, Snorri, Ulrika, Gotrek, and Felix, they're still hanging around what's left standing of Prague. The day has been won, but the city is doing about as well for a city that's just been given the once over by a chaos horde. So rebuilding's beginning. Everyone's trying to make some order. When Felix is walking through the street, ruminating as he often does when he's forced to think about his life, because there's not beer in front of him to distract him, when he comes across a woman weeping over a dead body. So that's farewell, wee man. So that is a
wee man. Shout out to Jackass. It's all brand today.
Yeah, but it's a real great start to a book, right? That's a dead body. Through her, he talks to her. He's like, "Well, what happened?" They learn there's a killer that's come to the city and is striking out across it. Initially, they suspects chaos because chaos just mulled over the city. It's a pretty reasonable thing to assume. But we will shortly learn that is not the correct assumption to make, as we cut to the perspective of a vampire named Adolphus Krieger, who I'm going to refer to as Krieger, had come to the city seeking an artifact known as the Eye of Khemri, which, as the name implies, is an intentionally magical artifact from the time of the Tomb Kings and when they were still flesh and blood as opposed to dust and bones. So we got a vampire looking for some incredibly powerful ancient artifact. The nobleman who owns this eye is distantly related to Ulrika, so he hires the 5 fellas to investigate the disappearance of a lot of his guards. Some of his guards have been kind of just vanishing. And he's fearing that either he or the eye or his stuff in general, or they might be next. He's worried he's on the chopping block. So, Gotrek Felix, Snorri, Ulrika start, investigating a bit, guarding the nobleman, making sure everything is safe and proper. When Max decides, I'm gonna take a little peek at the eye. He's a hell of a wizard. He's very powerful. He wants to see what this thing is all about. Why might someone want this eye? What makes it special beyond its old and magical, which is you can trip over a rock in Warhammer Fantasy and find something old and magical. What makes this thing any more special? When he investigates it, he takes a peek at it. He starts unraveling some of the layers of defenses around it. It's a cool scene where he's like using mage sight and like unweaving a web of traps and stuff. He's thinking the whole time, this is a very well defended artifact. There's a lot of powerful enchantments on this thing. I wonder who made it. And then he falls into a coma and probably shits his pants a little bit, because the last thing he sees before he falls into that coma is Nagash.
My God. Do you want to give just a brief context for someone who doesn't know who Nagash is?
So Nagash, for those who don't know, is the great necromancer, the father of necromancy, the man who turned an entire faction, the Tomb Kings, into undead skeletons who can never die. And I mean, again, the end times exists. There's no wannabe about it.
He is perhaps the most, according to Colin, infallible creature who has ever existed.
Of course, Nagash has done no wrong. Such is the power of Nagash.
His genocides are oopsies. Like it's in that vein. This dude he has not a single thread of like positive human, and like there's not a single thing about him that's redeeming.
No compassion, nothing.
Look, it's quite simple, Hal. I'm not even going to say they're oopsies. If Nagash has decided they need to go, then they were clearly detrimental to the world. I mean, Nagash decided it, and therefore it is.
He has this grand vision of killing every single person in the world so that he can raise them up as undead and they serve him.
I would just like to say, that you may make fun of me, you two, and chat, and audience, all you wish.
Huh?
But I would just like you to do a little mental exercise and just replace the word Nagash with Emperor and tell me I am wrong. All I'm doing is worshiping someone who started as a skeleton.
All I was going to say was, considering Nagash has no organs, he's very good at getting people to empty theirs. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, Nagash is kind of, for a while, like he's like the final end boss of fantasy. Like prior to the end times, him like coming back in a big way is viewed in the same way as if corn just stepped outside in your front lawn. Max just found a little artifact that has enough of Nagash's direct presence that he saw the dude.
Yeah.
And he basically, his whole lower intestines quivered because he was about to release.
Oh yeah, that is a spell of instant diarrhea.
Yes.
The rupturing has begun.
And it's especially bad because, like, again, like, a lot of people in Warhammer Fantasy it's like Renaissance times, which for people who aren't noblemen and merchants in cities means it's medieval times, but the paintings are slightly nicer. Even the average uneducated imperial peasant knows what Nagash is. So he's bad news.
Oof. The baddest news.
The baddest news. With that in mind, yeah, he's unconscious now. So he's out for a bit. While this is happening, Krieger, the vampire friend who's looking for this artifact, realizes that these five have inserted themselves into the plot of another Gotrek Felix book and sends his underlings to go attack them. So, you know, the classic send out my minions. But for once, he didn't actually think they would kill the five, or I guess four right now, because Max is currently spazzing out unconscious. He just sent his underlings as a diversion while he goes to the noble's manor and steals the eye himself. He kills the noble, grabs the eye, and takes Ulrica hostage. Felix and the rest of the dwarfs hold themselves back from tearing through Ulrica to kill the vampire, which a lot more reluctance about that on, you know, Gotrek's part than anyone else's, because he's an asshole. And not Ulrica. Krieger escapes with Ulrica. Totally blanked on her name after I said it like 3 times. So Gotrek, Felix, and Snorri spend the next few days just wandering around Prague looking for him. Like they're just walking around like headless chickens. Like where's Ulrica? Where the hell did Ulrica go? Where is she? When at this point, our dear friend Max wakes up and reveals that as he was defecating himself and falling unconscious, he put a tracking spell on the eye because he is the goat. He is just that good of a wizard. So they learned that he fled to Sylvania, and aside from following Krieger to Sylvania to rescue Ulrica, Felix and Max's love interest, and Gotrek and Snorri, they're still friends as much as Gotrek is friends with anyone. And also the reason being, hey guys, a vampire has an artifact of Nagash. I'd like the world to not end if that's quite all right with all of you.
Double undead combo. This is bad.
Oh god. I mean,
it's like, hey,
slight benefit, guys. Ulrica. Also, before I forget to mention it, I forget sometimes. World-ending plot device. slightly.
Yeah. By the way, right? Your girlfriend, my girlfriend, whatever love triangle thruple nonsense is going on here. Also, by the way, just if you can find time, something that will end the world. If
you got time,
yeah.
If there's money left over from the shop, you know what I mean.
You got a few minutes.
Yeah, if you were ever in a relationship and your partner found like unrefined uranium, be like, maybe check that out. I don't know. Seems a bit dangerous.
It's like, did you remember like getting like milk? Yeah. Oh, by the way, just dug up a old unexploded World War II in the garden. Just check it out.
Yeah, it had that yellow symbol on it with like a circle and some bits. I don't know. I can't remember what it means, but it was.
The neighbors look worried. But I'm all right.
I hit it with a shovel and it didn't seem to do much, but
And I'm gonna hit it again.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you either of you ever see? It's a green text about a guy who was collecting cobalts with drill bits for a project of like spent fuel rods.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Someone in the thread asked them to show us the root gens, however you say that word. The guy took a picture and he received
Reutgen,
yeah. I don't know however you say it. And he received the maximum industry recommended safe dose of radiation for a year in the amount of time it took him to take a picture.
I think there was one where it's like
just come to get out of there, stalker.
There was a guy in Australia who he wanted to make his own version of like a display case of the periodic table, but with like an actual piece of each element in it. And then he ordered some, I think, uranium for the periodic table, but then he ordered like a safe, like one that could be handled by people. But the problem is it was safe in certain countries and not in Australia. So the entire counter-terrorism force like knocked down his door, be like, "Where's the periodic table?" You know.
With radiation, I've seen Chernobyl, the HBO series many times. It's so good. It just reminds me of that bit. It's like, oh, it's free Roentgen, and they go there, and the guy's like, it's not free Roentgen. It's 15,000. It's like, oh no.
The bit that terrifies me about that show is the bit where, like, when the guys like they see the roaring flame, and you realize like the moment they saw it, they died. And
basically
their body just hadn't caught up yet.
Yeah, even the firefighters' uniforms that are in the basement of the hospital still today are like deadly radioactives because they went and like sprayed water on the fire. And it's you can go there today and get a Geiger count. And it's like, not good. Not good.
Not ideal.
Nope.
But so with that Roentgen, I hate that word. I said Roentgens for the longest time because that's how it's spelled.
Yeah.
So it's time to go to Sylvania, vampires, baby. There's also Ulrica's father Ivan comes with them alongside a decent amount of his own warriors because his daughter's been kidnapped. He has a vested interest. With that, they take off to Sylvania. Ulrica, for her part, is now a captive.
A cactus. She's now a cactus.
I don't know where I was. All right, captive.
Cactus life.
Yeah. And her and Krieger talk very hostily. about the nature of vampirism. Ulrika's just stuck there, so it's what am I going to do? And Krieger just seems to want someone new to talk to for a bit because he's got a hostage. Might as well strike up a conversation, right? They talk a lot about vampirism because, Krieger's a vampire. He has a vested interest in, how do I put it nicely? Undoing a lot of the harmful myths about vampirism and how, no, they're not all that bad. Which, there are a decent amount of non-awful Warhammers and vampires in Warhammer. A decent amount of them aren't horrid people. He is not on that list. But he's clearing up some misconceptions, which, to be fair, a pretty surprising amount of vampire lore comes from this paragraph. Like, he mentions how no two vampires are the same, hints at the bloodline stuff, and he's like, some vampires can walk in the sun and all they'll feel is a little bit sluggish. Others will combust on the spot. Some, if you say Sigmar's name, they will just get Dr. Manhattaned. Just others can fight in the middle of an altar of Sigmar and be totally fine. So we get a lot of vampire lore right now. She's during this whole time, she does escape several times. Like, she keeps running away. She doesn't want to be here. It's winter, and she's in Sylvania, going down from Kislev to Sylvania. So she'll pass out, gets brought back, escapes, passes out, brought back, escapes, and it's pretty much outright stated. He's just kind of letting her do it because he finds it amusing. And the whole time, he's also drinking her blood to bring her under his dominion, which over time she becomes angry at herself as she finds the experience almost pleasurable, which is a surprisingly common trope in vampire fiction, that a vampire drinking your blood is actually like a high. At least in Vampire the Masquerade it is.
It's like there's a venom to it, isn't it? Supposedly, there's a slight venom.
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot of magical dominion is happening too. It's a very messy time. She's not happy with herself that she's finding she's enjoying it more, but so she's going through a hell of a hostage situation. It's not fun to be Ulrika right now.
Me during the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
Slowly enjoying it more, but definitely in a hostage situation.
Hey, those movies are art. Fine art.
I'm Knuff. It's all right.
Oh, you said Barbie. I thought you said Bali, like Bollywood.
No.
Say, dude, a Bollywood action sequence is the best thing you'll see in your life. I will broke no slander.
No, that one with the guys when they get fired out of a cannon into a castle and they form a shell of shields and then they just bounce.
Yeah. Duff.
Yeah, that's the best thing I've ever seen.
Where was I?
Ulrika's
going through it.
Yeah.
Krieger, when he's not talking with Ulrika, we get a lot of insight in how vampires, on average, view their mortal followers, because he's spending his whole time, stringing them along. They're very diligently serving him, doing what he asks, and the whole time he's thinking to himself, "I know what they want. They want the blood kiss. They just want to be turned into a vampire so they can gain all of my power for themselves," which he's not wrong. And the whole time he's just stringing them along. He's been like, "Oh, one day you'll get enough of the blood kiss to become a vampire yourself," and he'll give them little drops of his blood to turn them into ghouls, enhance them, make them stronger, give them that addiction. He's never going to give them the full thing. They're never going to get the full Nelson, the full deal.
Yeah, it's like every season of What We Do in the Shadows, where it's like, Guillermo, it'll give you the power to be a vampire eventually, and it's like 5 seasons later, he's not got it.
Because if he gives them the power of vampirism, then they might stop serving him. They might try and overthrow him now that they're vampires. So it just keeps doing that. They get attacked by goblin wolf riders, but this is not more so just to show that Krieger, he's been studying that eye. He's getting a bit more powerful as he just turns all of the goblins' wolves to their side. The goblins get butchered. and adding them to his growing little horde. Keeps, again, drinking more of Ulrika's blood, bringing her more and more under his sway, hinting at what is to come very shortly. If we did this a year ago, I probably would have said spoiler alert, but Ulrika's now in Total Warhammer, and she's very distinctly pale with glowing red eyes. So you can probably guess how this book goes for Ulrika. Yeah, as Gotrek and Felix for their part, this is, like I said, this is going to be the shorter of the two things we're talking about today, because a lot of it is them traveling across Kislev to Sylvania, dealing with the cold, camping out, pretty like mundane stuff. They eventually arrive in Sylvania to the town of Waldenschloss, which is very fun to say. It is not an important lore town. I like saying the silly German names. What can I say?
Waldenschloss.
Waldenschloss.
Schloss.
We're going to Waldenschloss to meet my friends. We're going to have so much fun.
In the chat is just immediately either fell over laughing or has jumped off a bridge. Sorry, guys, we have been
and they get to this town and they start learning basically Codex lore, a little bit about the vampire counts, and more importantly to the story and the setting in general, that vampirism is on the rise again in Sylvania. More and more towns are coming under the control of the undead, their undead masters, and that's not good.
No.
They meet during this a noblewoman named Gabriella von Nachtifen. I'm just going to call her Gabriella because that is a mouthful. And after helping her defend her group from a beastman attack, because no matter where you are in Warhammer Fantasy, you are never more than 7 feet from a beastman. And they learn that Krieger plans to use the Eye of Khemri to bring every vampire he can get his hands on under his control for a massive undead army. Because, again, Sylvanian vampires tend to have a very one-track mind of step 1, get army, step 2, gun it for the throne of the empire. If at first you don't succeed, try again.
He's not very smart, but he's got spirit.
So I think it's a Vermintide voice line of all places that they have stopped numbering the vampire wars because they're worried it's just going to encourage the vampires to keep trying.
Or get to 69 or something.
It's like Barden was talking. He was like, "You were at the Battle of Hel Fen where you killed Manfred." Is like, no, that was like 200 years before I was born. This was the 5th war, I think. We stopped naming them. We stopped keeping track.
If they get to fun numbers like 50, they'll start to get emboldened and go, "This is surely the one." Like,
yeah.
Get to 100. Once we get to 100, then surely we'll win because that's a fun number.
Yeah. With that, they also something about Gabriella. They notice that her and the rest of the Sylvanian nobles and people he's seen, it would be like, imagine you. No, well, they eat. Most of them. He doesn't see Gabriella eating. But most of them, even the ones that are just people. Imagine if someone from like Victorian England, like you walk down a street, right? You turn left, and you are back in Victorian England. The way they speak, the way they are dressed, their mannerisms, their like everything. They're like Felix noticed that they're like 3 centuries behind the Empire on fashion and like trends and news and everything.
Why do they keep saying "thou"? That's strange.
Yeah, it's like what is happening here? Sylvania is a massive province. So he's like, why this is weird. It's like the whole province is like a time capsule, ignoring the undead. In the meantime, Krieger has already started raising an undead army from a graveyard near him, and worse, Ulrika's now a vampire. That is not ideal. When she wakes up, all she knows is that she is ravenously hungry, just soul-crushingly, unbearably starving. Food
Famished.
Food does not do anything. If anything, it makes it worse. So she's roaming through Castle Drakenhof, where Krieger has taken them, the home of the vampire counts, basically, and is just like bull rushing through the entire place looking for food, looking for something to eat, which she cannot find until she finds a merchant that was one of Krieger's underlings and drinks him like a Capri Sun.
Damn.
Bone dry, where she then vomits, passes out, and then wakes up again in a lovingly well lit and comfortable bedroom Krieger had prepared for her, where he informs her that you are now a vampire, sweetie. It is not great.
Oof.
So she spends the next, like, every time we pan back to her, horrified at what she's become and kind of wanting to die.
It's rough.
So yeah, this is not great. And he says that he turned her because he's grown quite attached to her and wanted her by his side. Between the lover and parental implications of turning so into vampirism, make of that what you will. Krieger's a bad guy. Interpret what he meant how you will.
I think someone did clarify. Is it Drakenhof, not because Drakenfell?
Oh, Drakenhof. Yeah, no. Drakenfels is a different mess.
Thank you, Angry Homunculus.
Thank you for
catch there.
catching that flub. Cut back to the main crew, and Gabriella informs Felix that she's a vampire. The one who sired Krieger, in fact. So she also has a vested interest in stopping them. Felix is horrified when she finds out, is waiting for either her or one of her underlings to just kill him. She doesn't. She has a vested interest in not being mind controlled by her kid. So he informs Max, who reluctantly is like, I don't like this, but the other guy's got an artifact of Nagash, so I like that a lot less, so I guess we'll work together. And eventually they tell Gotrek, who more so agrees that we'll kill her later. I will kill her later. I will kill Krieger, and then I will kill her, and we will do things in that order.
Rather tame for him, to be fair.
It is quite tame. We're 5 books in. Gotrek too is mellowing out. He's learned to direct the violence in a certain direction by this point instead of just hurricane.
Massacre on the spot is the old him. Now he massacres on a timeline when he needs to.
On select spots, yeah. He's got point A, point B, point C. He's learning.
Oh, character growth.
And yeah. Now they then learn. Max is still his spell and whatnot. Krieger's at none other than Drakenhof itself, like I said, the capital of the vampire counts, basically. And they march out to meet him. When as they start entering the castle, they're ambushed by a bunch of Krieger's ghouls and more undead, which kills the no ones, basically. Like all those Kislevite warriors Ivan brought with him, they're dead for the most part now. This was the way to thin the extra ranks. Max then responds by killing half of them with a single spell, because, as I said, he is the GOAT. God bless you, Max Schreiber. And this is also one of those confusing moments where it's annoying, where you go, what kind of fucking wizard are you, Max? Because he makes a giant ball of light he can, like, scry through and scan the passages, but it's also like golden light specifically. So it's like, are you a gold wizard? Are you a light wizard? I think I might have read somewhere he was briefly a beast wizard, which is neither of those two things.
Is it where, like...
So Max is all over the place.
I think it's because, like, in if correct me if I'm wrong, in fantasy, it's when Teclis, Elf Boy, helped create the magic college, well, the magic system for humans. It was more because humans couldn't, like, elves could do multiple different laws of magic because they're amazing, but humans couldn't necessarily always develop that level of talent. So theoretically, someone could be more than just like a fire wizard or a beast wizard or a amber wizard or anything like that. But it'll be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it and like improperly doing that, like mixing winds of magic together like that, is a way you can end up with dark magic, which is how you go insane with mad power, and or just go regular insane, or do the classic psyker I blew up into a demon portal thing. It could be that, and without too much spoilers, in the end times, Max kind of goes off the chain a little bit with what a wizard as a human is able to do. But I think at this point it might have also just been some cross that line out. He's a this wizard now.
Well, it might have been. It was written quite a while ago, to the point in which they hadn't. A lot of these things maybe weren't as established, or the supposed like colleges. It's like, bro, you have a talent for the law of metal. You're basically going to only learn how to do that one. But I guess depending on the wizard, if they knew how to do something low level and something else, it's like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Fireball, like in D&D, F it, fireball in the middle of the room. Just go for it.
I do kind of like how the wizards in the setting are just kind of like career advisors. Was like, I think it makes the most sense you specialize in this type of magic rather than doing too many. Because if you want a career as a wizard, you got to pick one. You got to master one of them. Come on.
I mean, it is a college, like, beyond all out. It is, the colleges of magic.
Tuition is good.
I mean, tuition is free, but if you don't apply, you're an unsanctioned witch.
Tuition or death.
Tuition or Victor Saltzpyre is knocking on your door. Pick one.
It's going to get toasty.
Yeah, where's Mr. Beast, my lookalike, who's going to come in and be like, where's the Amazon show for like colleges of magic? But there's
I trapped a wizard of each college in this room for 24 hours.
But every course, we just throw a ball at a thing, because that's all we can do. Throw a ball at a thing.
God, Squid Game's too crazy.
Squid Game. I know you. Squid Game.
Squid Game. But I watched someone talk about it, and it's just like, throw the ball near the thing, and then use the ball and throw. It's like, there's too many balls in this show. Have some imagination. Come on.
I spent 38 hours locked in a room with Thanquol, and this is what happened.
I trapped everyone in a room with Mortarion, and the last person to leave before they throw up wins. Like,
I forced
not gonna have it.
I forced the lead team of GW to read the entire End Times books in one sitting, and this is what happened. Spoiler alert: they hated it.
So again, Max the Goat. God, cool. He's a cool dude. The main cast finishes the rest, and eventually they even manage to find Ulrika, but they naturally take one look at her and are horrified. Snorri and Gotrek, they are, at the end of the day, still dwarves, but they at least resolve to make her death quick, which arguably a mercy, given she's a vampire now. But Felix doesn't have it in him to let that happen, so Felix prevents them, and Ulrika is able to escape. She also, at one point, comes across her father right as the final battle is starting. And nearly by this point, when she's face to face with her father, she was like, if I'm going to die, I want my dad to kill me. So this is like a very sad moment. But then her father is also like sitting there just like, it's my baby girl. I can't kill her. Like it's really just a sad like moment where it's like they're both just staring at each other, and he's like slowly like raising his axe, like clearly she's a vampire, he knows what he has to do, but he's also like, that's my daughter. Unfortunately for him though, as this is happening, Krieger starts using more of the eye, bringing both Gabriella and Ulrika under his sway, as well as a whole lot of undead bats, which unfortunately jump Ivan and kill him, which Ulrika's dad dies in front of her eyes, and
the bats, no less. Ugh.
To be fair, they're the Warhammer vampire bats, which is
They are like they're a big dog size, aren't they? They're pretty.
They're
huge.
like the size of a
They're not
person.
they're
Like,
not like
this is like, what is it? The like Tibetan Mastiff sized bat.
Jesus Christ!
This is not,
if you will.
Scooby Doo. Oh, the vampire. The bat scared the funny dog. It's that bat stole a cow.
This is like a kangaroo bat. You definitely couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Just the image of the cow being lifted away, kind of nonplussed. Just.
All right, while I'm thinking about that, my friend was telling me that there were records of a bird in medieval times that was big enough to just steal people. Has anyone read that?
No.
I think
wasn't someone dressed as a bird.
No, it was.
There might have been a thing like there's like a vulture or something like that. There's like a vulture or a hawk.
What are those?
Maybe
or it's like tales of like harpies from like The Witcher, where it's like a bat woman creature. It's like
it might be a thing where like because some species went extinct not as long ago, but there may be like things where they found small child bones in like nests of things.
I do like the idea that just humans just went, right, I've had enough of this. Just drove them to extinction. All right, birds. Warning, no more of that. Stop evolving like that. We're not.
Fuck it. Let's beat up some
make you extinct.
Jesus. So now like Mr. Krieger's taking control. And I assume the castle is basically there's no big dog other than him at the time in terms of vampires.
Yeah, he does start like animating suits of undead armor and the classic undead that make up a Warhammer fantasy vampire army. But at the moment, Vlad's been dead for a while. Same with Isabella. Manfred, I think he's also dead at this point in time. He's
in Hellfen.
He's not around.
Swamp or somewhere.
Yeah, he's currently sinking somewhere into a mud pit. He's busy. He's got things taken up to worry about. So it's just Krieger at the moment. He's the closest thing to a head honcho in the vampire counts, but even he's no Vlad by any stretch of the imagination. But still a vampire in Warhammer, still a very big threat. So as all the animated suits of armor and minions and monsters he has start attacking, the two forces fight. And while he's fighting, again, he is fighting Gotrek, who's holding an axe forged by a god, intensely magical axe. It's distracting enough, and dwarfs are inherently anti-magical. Each of them is kind of like a mini blank, where they can't just ignore lightning completely when you shoot it out of your fingers at them like Palpatine, but it hurts a lot less than if you or me did that, or suffered from that. So he starts losing some distraction, which allows Ulrika, Gabriella to shake off his influence for just long enough to fight a bit and distract Krieger for his demise to come through. His demise, which comes in the form of Snorri Nosebiter riding a chandelier down on top of him.
Oh, yes.
Crushing him to death. And then one of the last lines of the book before, that we go back to the sad epilogue chapter is Snorri going, did Snorri get him? I remember if it was Gotrek or Felix said, yes, Snorri, you got him.
Oh, bruh.
Is there anything more satisfying than like a villain dying under a chandelier? Especially if it's like a shiny one that's like really big.
There's in the Age of Sigmar Gotrek books. Obviously, this is not spoiling anything for everybody, but it's a whole new universe. So none of the characters continue other than Gotrek. But he actually talks to like the ghost of Snorri in his Age of Sigmar.
I'm bad enough. That made me tear up a bit.
You keep seeing him, and he's literally's like, oh, you again, because he's kind of like, there's nothing to say to you, brother.
It's like, it's in a way where he's Gotrek. He will never admit he just cares for someone, but he keeps sneaking Snorri's ghosts out because they're in the realm of the dead. And Snorri even mentions that he's seen Max and Ulrika, so someone got a happy afterlife. Although Snorri might just be happy because he's too stupid to be sad. In death, anyways. God knows he's not that stupid in these books when we get to those bits.
Nosebiter is a hell of a epithet.
There's worse things to bite, I suppose.
Snorri Crotchbiter.
Toe Nibbler or something.
Ugh.
He died as he lived. Inconvenient.
Hey,
The great digit.
I will brook no slander for Snorri Nosebiter. You shut your mouth.
Just could you? I mean, like someone in general, like a Chaos Lord, is like Golfang, toe biter. He died annoying people.
Man.
So they managed to chandeliered him.
Yeah, they chandeliered him. Gotrek, hit him with an axe just for good measure because you can never be too sure a vampire's dead. They come back with alarming frequency.
Can I give a shout out to a comment that someone made by
please?
Is it Volkai Main, who says, "Nosebiter, I hardly knew her. Thank you, brother." That is a good comment. Appreciate that. I deeply appreciate that.
But then, after Snorri's fun little goof, brain short-circuited a bit. They go back. Gabriella and Ulrika have kind of, Gabriella says that you are in no condition to fight me right now, which after the big battle with the vampire and all the minions, they're kind of right. Even though God knows Gotrek and Snorri would sure be willing to fight. After all, a death wish is a death wish. But they convince, Max, Felix, that maybe let's just part ways. Let's just take a truce. Gabrielle will take Ulrika as her protege and train her in vampirism. It should be noted that, I should have said this earlier, but Krieger and Gabriella are Lamian vampires, so they're the least problematic vampires. They don't like making waves. They're the vampire Illuminati. They're more of the pull the strings from behind the scenes kind of vampires, which, if nothing else, they're not von Karsteining it, where they're rampaging through your town with undead hordes. So,
they're not going to destabilize your country through axes and swords. They're going to just crash your economy in the distance. Like, how dare you, tariffs? How dare you?
But because Lamians don't usually have male vampires.
They don't. That was something a little odd about Krieger, which is also why he was a little bit bitter towards Gabriella. Lamian men are not treated terribly well. So she'll take Ulrika, and again, because she's a Lamian, they even, a lot of the time, they go out of their way to not drink blood lethally. They'll just need to take a little sip, take a little bit off the top.
Just a little neat.
Lamians are cool vampires. They'll help defend against chaos too. Because how am I going to drink all this blood if Khorne's spread it all over the walls?
How am I going to drink this blood?
Or Nurgle's giving it syphilis.
Yeah,
exactly.
It makes sense. It's like the
or Slaanesha's also given it syphilis.
It's like the Ogrins, where they're like, "Oh, we won't eat these people because the food makes more food, so that makes sense." It's exactly the same, just a different stuff.
Don't eat the chef.
They do see human as cattle, so it's a pretty good comparison. So there is some tearful goodbyes about the Ulrika leaving. No one is leaving this situation happy, except for Gabriella. She got herself a new protege that probably won't try and take an artifact of Gash to conquer the world with. But Max and Felix and Ulrika are parting ways. She's now an undead. There's a lot of heartbreak going on there. Snorri and Gotrek, aren't exactly happy losing their friend. Gotrek is also not happy. He's letting this undead abomination walk free. He is not afraid to tell you how he thinks. And Vampire Slayer ends on that note. Rather less happy than the last book, where The day's saved, but it finally cost something. Which, I mean, she's still kind of alive, but not quite the same, you know?
She does get her own books, doesn't she? There's some
She
spin-offs.
does. I think she's got a trilogy, which I have not read yet. I've heard mixed things about it. Yeah, she has an omnibus. Let's see, is it
it might be difficult because like a lot of the things that make a character interesting, well, for her might be like the fact that she interacts with Gotrek and Felix, and I'm guessing they don't really appear in the books for her.
Not much. She does. I will say a little. Not really a spoiler, more of a forewarning, because she did kind of just walk off here. They didn't kill her. She does make a couple appearances again in the future, so she's not gone, but she's not really part of the party anymore. With that, there is one short story, if you don't mind me briefly going through it, as part of this omnibus where these books are in, about our good pal Snorri.
Hey.
And this is the first of where you learn I don't like Snorri's point of view because I'm sad when I'm reading it. Because it starts with Snorri is he's with a group of knights, right? It's him and another slayer, where Snorri is the last person you'd think have a deep thought, but he does. He's as he's traveling with these knights and these slayer, they're after this cask, like these cask of vintage wine, vintage winters, some fancy stuff on a quest. One of the other slayers, he's very loud and bombastic. He's like, I'm gonna get my death and I'm gonna kill a bajillion trolls on the way out. I'm gonna be the coolest guy ever. And Story just goes, he's one of those stupid slayers that seeks their death rather than just waiting for it to come, and it'll happen when it happens. Which might be the most mellow attitude a dwarf has ever had. And then you get hit with the line of Snorri wishes he had alcohol because Snorri doesn't like when he's sober because then he remembers. Oh,
my dude!
I just want to give him a hug.
It is a lot of like an action-based story. They fight I think it was like some night goblins. Which Snorri, it's kind of like Felix, where you don't really appreciate how strong Snorri is because he's standing next to Gotrek. Snorri is cutting heads off left, right, and center in this book. I'm pretty sure he annihilates a troll. And it's not too much of a discussion. Again, it's a very short story. It's called A Cask of Winters. I would advise anyone to read it themselves. But it's a fun adventure with Snorri. He has a moment where he's got some teeth, where one of them calls Snorri stupid, and then his dopey grin is just that it's like off his face, and he goes, only Snorri's friends can call Snorri stupid. You aren't Snorri's friends.
Oh,
it's not too much about it. I would implore you all to read that story. If nothing else, it's a short story. You can read it in 20 minutes tops. I would advise you read it. It is very good and sad. And Snorri fight scene, which you don't get a lot of those. It's kind of like that one Caiaphas Cain story where Jurgen's just doing his own thing. A little short story. It's Snorri on his own adventure.
It's just about like the way you were saying about the fighting. It's like, imagine like a blazing fire, but then you compared that to the sun, and that's okay.
It's like, sure, a forest fire isn't quite as hot as the sun, but hot enough for you, buddy.
Yeah.
With that one though, we think we have a few more. You guys have a few more donos, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a few more donos just to say thank you, boys. Yep. Oh wow, 20 euros from RT23. Recently found out you guys have this collab channel, and I've been loving the contrast each of you provide to all the topics. Have some euro dollars. Yes. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that.
Raw666. Hello, Raw, who donated $10. Who gets more killed in the following categories? Skaven, dwarves, humans, chaos, and all four combined. Gotrek, Malachi, or Thanquil. We can add Felix, but I'm not sure he thousands behind.
I think by pure volume. Oh god. Oh yeah. Oh god. Probably Thanquil. No, it's if you're including Age of Sigmar, it's Thanquil because he accidentally flooded all of Skaven Blight.
Ooh. Happens to the best of us.
Accidentally.
No, it was an accident because he's an idiot. But
Yeah. Nothing malicious. He just like killed a bajillion things. Bajillion Skaven.
he killed Skavens.
$2. Nagash jump scare warning. Nagash is in your walls. He's always there.
Yeah, buddy cop. Thank you for the $5. Vampire Slayer's villain is such a 17 urban, edgy, nihilist levels of compelling, annoying, and satisfying to see finally end. Yeah, that's also part of why I was a bit quicker with Vampire Slayer, because Krieger's interest is giving me vampire lore and what he does with Ulrika. Krieger himself, I look at every other vampire character and I'm like, damn, you are so much more interesting than he is.
That's why I got chandeliered. Raw 666
Again
for $10. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
I think humans can only use one magic at a time. For you need centuries to master the winds to figure out how to mix them. Nothing says they cannot change schools, but it takes time to not die, which is a good point.
Yeah, in theory, it could happen, but like high elf wizard training is the kind of thing that it takes centuries. So it's in theory they could. We do not have a long enough lifespan to do that, which is why I'm pretty sure it's like retconning with max changing schools at first.
Or it might be, it could be like how it's very rarely done in. I think I can think of like Balthazar using, obviously he has Lore of Metal, but then he delves into necromancy slightly.
That's a bit different.
It's
because
not a
necromancy is, it's not a wind. It is theoretically, I think any wizard could become a necromancer, like Sienna in Vermintide, because it's a bit different of like a magical school.
It's the perversion of magic.
Yeah, it's like going back to, like I said, dark magic, where it's dark magic. It's evil. The name is as it implies.
Yeah,
it's not chaos.
It's not like the College of
It's
not like the College of Winterhold, where it's just like, I've never seen you cast a spell in my life. Archmagos. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, no, you actually need to be a wizard to go to the colleges of magic. There's no sword and boarding your way through that.
No.
Ricky Chapman of the 5.
Thank you. Ulrika is actually a hybrid between Lamian and Von Karsten.
I don't know if this is still true. Was it retconned?
It's like I said, I have not read her trilogy, so they probably, I imagine they discuss it more in depth there. It's predominantly Lamian, but there is also vampire lore where the bloodlines have been going on for so long that there are very few, like, relative to how many vampires exist in the world, like pure one bloodline vampires, through like mixing of bloodlines and stuff like that. After long enough, you'll usually be like, you're a Lamian, but you're like 85% Lamian, a little bit of Von Karsten in there, or you're a blood dragon, you're a real vicious blood dragon. There might be some Strigoi in you, buddy.
And the last one from Organoth. Oh wait, we got another one from Organoth. We got two. Does Tzeentch usually troll the Skaven like Thanquil's lackey?
I don't think he needs to troll the Skaven because the Horned Rat does that enough himself. You can leave the Skaven alone and they'll
do it themselves.
They'll
stand on the proverbial rake every chance they get. They're just like, whack, ow.
Organoth for $2 again. Thank you, brother. Asks, is vampire dark magic more pure chaos magic? Pure chaos,
not quite. It's so magic comes from the realm of chaos. It enters into the world as dark magic, and then splits into the 8 winds of magic. So dark magic isn't like pure chaos, but it's like the step below. So you're getting close.
Well, usually I imagine in most fantasy factions, whatever like version of their god that they worship, even though like there's probably multiple different societies that worship death, they channel the wind of death in a way in which it like becomes less corrupting, but it still obviously is a danger because it's magic, and you are leaving yourself open to what essentially is raw power flowing through a immortal form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably it.
A lot of it's more just like people being able to handle it. Like humans can't, again, for the same.
Sorry.
There's Eli.
Eli's here. Says,
Don't worry
today
about it.
I sought my doom, in brackets, driver's license renewal, in the
Oh,
depths of
wow.
a chaos fortress, the DMV, and battled many demons of Siege, AMA employees.
Truly,
Well done,
truly,
Ugh.
Grungy's strongest warrior.
Yeah. I was like, Eli lives. Eli lives. Eli lives.
Shout out to Eli.
Also, we got a $10 donation from Mr. B92. No message.
Thank you,
but
man.
Thank you very much.
If there's anything you want to say, Mr. B Nice too, we'll read it something out, but appreciate that very much. Andy,
But,
I say, do we have anything else? Was that sorry, Colin? Is there anything I missed?
I'm just gonna say for next time, we have this was the end of the third or the second omnibus of Gotrek and Felix books. 4 more to go. But my next one has my favorite Giant Slayer, where Gotrek and Felix go on a little journey with my husband.
Question: how many omnibuses are there total?
6.
6
plus Age of Sigmar. There's Age of Sigmar omnibuses as well for Gotrek.
Gotrek and Felix is Warhammer Fantasy's version of the Horus Heresy, where GW is out of ideas. All right, another one of these fucking things.
I mean, but that's coming. That came to a conclusion. This is just adventure time.
So, Bunny Cop for $2. Eli lives. Stomp. He does.
I say, Andy, we have the question of the week, don't we? We had a previous.
We do.
Question of your week.
So the previous one. #Slanushi or Slanushi.
Oh no!
Because of course it was for Emperor's Children. So to start us off, DeRosa Doodles #Slanushi. I will fold harder than laundry if Slanesh made me Neferati's eternal boy toy. Wow!
Would you believe me if I said that's also a Gotrek and Felix reference? Probably not intentionally, but
wow. We've also got one from Mike the Bretonian Grail Knight.
Oh, Mike, of course.
Getting good in Ari lore and or anything Bretonia, of course. Had to slip in a bit of Bretonia at the last minute.
Bro, Mike and Ari are so in the shit right now.
He is Bretonia's strongest servant. This man truly, in fact, we owe this man a Bretonia episode just because.
Fantasy Fireside, it exists. I didn't have to be part of it.
The only episode where Colin bails at the beginning and then Eli takes over, which is fun. Funny meme.
Mike's a good boy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And the last one from Pay188, Slanushi getting GW off their fat asses and re-release the Tactical Blood Angels because I want Kazarian and I don't have a problem, guys. Please, and then it cuts off. Poor Kazarian.
Rip.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of things in Warhammer where people are like, "Oh, bring back this thing, bring back that thing." I don't just want new things. I honestly, God forbid, if Logan Grimnar and Marnius Calgar got it, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Like Dante, he has to have a certain time when it happens, but he can get it as well.
But his whole thing is he's the poor suffering old man who's like, oh, we've Erasmus Tycho. Oh, look at this amazing Blood Angels captain. He's amazing. Oh, he's dead. Oh, well, check out Captain Leonatus. Oh, he's lost in the warp forever. And it's just again and again. And that's his thing that he's always, please let me go.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion, just let some characters die, man. It's okay.
No, the only one we can kill off is the farce, or not the ethereal.
About to say,
don't she?
Aun
I don't remember the stupid Dow's name. Eli, comment the goober's name. I don't remember his name.
Aun, I think.
Well, Aunvar, he's dead. Aunvar's dead.
That guy,
She is the one who's like, I have a spear, and that's Aunshi.
He said he lives in his heart. With that being said, though, we do have a new question of the week, which is obviously, I guess, in line with what we've discussed today, boys. We want to ask, who's your Gotrek to your Felix? Who's your ride or die? Who is your duo? #ride or die. It could be. I mean, I know Colin. I mean, we all know Colin's pick. It's it's basically Teclis, but he really wants to say Marathi.
Are we talking like romantically, or are we talking platonically?
No, we're talking like a friend who you can just go on adventures with. Like I would have thought Carl Franz would have been like you and Carl does
adventure.
The two of us.
Carl's adventure is paperwork.
Who would I go on an adventure with Warhammer Fantasy? Who would be an adventure and not I'm the side character in your book? One of those is adventure. One of those is I have a time limit on my life.
I don't know. It's difficult.
To be honest,
a lot of them you'll just die.
Yeah.
I don't know much about this character, but I think he's really cool. If it was a character from any of the settings, I'd probably want to go on like a journey with Hamilcar, Bear Eater.
I was actually about to say that.
Because I was like, no one knows who he is, but he's quite a lark. Just like, I'm Hamilcar.
He's a fun guy. Yeah,
he's like, he's the Ant-Man of Warhammer.
I choose Hagar, although he's dead now, but I choose Hagar, the fat space wolf. And I'm not joking. He was the space wolf who he was so fat in his gut they had to alter his armor, so he has a beer gut when he was in the space marine.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a good thrashing.
He's
always got gravy stains in his beard.
He's a little bit dumb, but he was also very he's very kind to other space wolf guys. He's very like chummy, but he's also a hell of a hoot.
And to be fair, he also throws a thunder hammer like a tomahawk, but he does it like 4, but without the ability to just pull back. So he just chucks it into a bunch of enemies, and then he runs after it, and like that's amazing. He's great.
There's one bit. It's the book where it's because it's in Ragnar Blackmane books, and they just meet randomly like the lost company of space wolves, and they're all like, their eyes are all glowing yellow because they're all like slightly wolfened up, and then old space wolves meet new space wolves, and then Hagar takes out his little flask, and all the old space wolves go, "Yo, is that like mead?" They're like, "I haven't had mead in like 3,000 years." And then Hagar's like, he's such a fat bastard. He's like, he really doesn't want to share it.
This is mine.
But he's also
this
like,
is mine though.
Oh man, they really haven't had it. He's like, make sure you save some for me. Hands it over, and the guy immediately downs it all. So it's like
also a William King character as well. So
yeah,
and he's introduced with him stepping out of his chambers, having put his foot through a keg of alcohol, and it stuck to his boot. So like, yeah, classic.
He's just like me.
My beloved Hagar. Who'd you pick, Andy? Then what did you say? Did you say for your one?
Probably Hamilcar, just because I think that'd be funny. Because I could be like his version of Felix, where like I'm gonna remembrance his deeds, and then even with that, people still would know who he was, and that'd be quite funny. Yeah, and he's cool.
Colin, who did you say again? It was
I'm thinking also Hamilcar, but failing that, I think Aliathra. She seems like a fun, seems like a fun person to be around. Even the dwarfs liked her.
Oh yeah.
If you're that personable, yeah, I want to hang out with you.
Fair enough,
man.
Although preferably before she gets Amber alerted by Manfred. I don't want to be a part of that adventure.
Yeesh. Oh my god.
The message from Eli.
Gotrek to my Felix is beef and rice.
True.
The amount of times we've seen him getting ready for a stream and he's there with his bowl just nom 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 nom. Yeah. We also got one last donation from Waffle for $2.
Thank you, brother.
No message.
Thank you, Waffle. Jack Black with a stop sign.
Thank you guys for all the donations this stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the part 3 of Gotrek and Felix. This will, if you need context, if you need context for the previous ones, as part 1 and 2. And obviously there'll be more to continue in the future. Got some more cool episodes of, Warhammer Fantasy lore. I think we'd all love it here. So we'll we're dipping into that as much as 40k and Horus Heresy. As Mike has clearly pointed out in chat, once again, thank you if you made it this far. Please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you, as Mel reminded me, Mike. We do have merch. I'm wearing it, and wearing it. Yeah, got some stuff you want as presents or anything, just to show that you're a degenerate like us and you're a law criminal. And we also have the Discord as well. I'm sure you can check it out immediately and to see the amount of memes that are making fun of how we all look, sounds, taste, smell, like all that good stuff. Everything that's wrong with us. I've been told I am an abomination to society. Appreciate that. And there's the Lorecrimes bingo. That being said, thank you, especially Colin, who obviously did quite a bit of heavy lifting on the Gotrek and Felix lore.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure to hear more about the duo.
Now you can go back to play Oblivion.
Indeed, it's always a pleasure to yap, and I will go back to public announcement: kill every Mer you see, erase them from Tamriel.
Gilmer, good fun.
See you guys all in the next episode. Thank you guys so much. The question of the week was hashtag ride or die, and we'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.